Hello and welcome everybody. It's Friday night, it's 9 p.m. ish, and we are doing Friday Night Live, Fishy Business. How is everyone today? Have I got my chat working? Can you hear me? Can you see me? All those good things. There were some early people, but unfortunately I was a bit late, so I've missed all those messages. But we've got Mandy saying, welcome Mandy. I assume there's another Mandy. Good evening, says Stuart Laker, UK Navy Nige. Soon be Christmas. God, let's get over Halloween at least first. Yes. I've resorted to what's the word I'm looking for? No glass tonight. We're just going straight in for the cans. This is the remainder of last week's Beer 52 order. This is Tan's Fest Beer from Attic Baruco. Very nice. No guests tonight. You're just stuck with me, unfortunately. So I want to know how you are, what you're up to, any plans for the weekend that anyone's got. As always, we'll have some... Oh, sorry, just found some money. As always, we will have some quizzes later tonight. I'm particularly... I know I say this often, but I'm particularly proud of the Eliminator this week. And definitely gettable. In fact, many people will get this one, I think. Completely fishy themed, I might add. And even some of you might get mentioned. I can't remember if I kept all those questions or not. But we've got them coming up tonight. The normal quiz 2 at about past, as well as the Eliminator a bit after that. I have some general updates to give you. And what else we're going to talk about? First and foremost, not first or foremost, first at least, I have added a new perk to the channel. So if you are a channel member, so thank you 3 people who are channel members, hero members at least, I've added a new perk where you're now going to sponsor one of the quiz questions. So I've joined this, I haven't joined this thing, I've been invited to this thing by YouTube where they try and pressure us into, it's like boot camp for your channel or level up for your channel. So my YouTube partner managers all over it now going, you have to do memberships, you have to do all this, you have to do all that. I'm like, I'm already doing memberships, nobody cares, shut up, leave me alone. But just to placate her, I have added a new perk to the $4.99 membership level. So if you do fancy becoming a member, and this is only going to be of interest to anyone who has something to promote, whether that be your YouTube channel, your website, your whatever, on each question, there'll be the opportunity to sponsor a question. So it'll be question 3, sponsored by the Zen Ginger, with a link to your channel on there. So there's that. That's new. I've started... Oh, I forgot to bring them downstairs. I've started collating and receiving lots of £100,000 merch items for various giveaways, like this, which turned up today from Phil. From Elite Logos. It says Aquarium Adventures, congratulations on surpassing 100,000 subscribers or something like that. He sent me like 1,000 of these, so thank you, but what am I going to do with all them? So there'll be some prizes we'll be giving away at some point. I have air fresheners for your car. I have, what else have we got? I think that might be it. Mugs, glasses, t-shirts, other things. So there's going to be all kinds of things. So we'll talk a little bit of that. A little bit about... I've called this podcast... Not a podcast, what is it? It's a live stream. I've called this live stream Fishy Business for 200 and whatever episodes now. And I've never actually talked business on this. So I'm going to bore you all to tears a little bit and talk about possible business plans and future expansion and world domination by Aquarium Adventures. Got that a little bit later on as well. As well as just general chit-chat of whatever the hell you want to talk about. Stevie P says hello. Hiya, Stephen. Lisa's in as well. Nice to see you, Lisa. Audio, video, good. I should have checked that before I went on rambling. Hans, hi from Sweden. Hi, Hans. Lisa says it's too early for the C word. It is a little bit early for Christmas. Yeah. Got all that to come. Rebecca's in, still working, just finishing off some marking for the day. Oh dear. In fact, I'm sure Rebecca gets to be the answer to one of my questions, or is name checked in one of my questions for this evening. There you go. Aquarium Delirium, evening y'all, evening Mal, nice to see you. UK Navy nice says, has feed frozen fruit, everyone. Nigel's turned into Yoda. Has feed frozen fruit, everyone. Nope. Lee from Bolton, from a rainy Bolton, nice to see you. How much about the geography? Zero geography question. Well, that's not entirely true. If you take geography as its wider subject, I think there are some questions about the planet. But there's no, where is Namibia on this map? Leggies says good evening, as does Gary Gills. Nice to see you. Oh, Mandy says, what did I sponsor? Shouldn't I get question approval first? I've used you because you're one of the few hero sponsors as an example for this evening. So once we get onto the quiz, I'll show you what I'm on about. Thank you for being a member for 31 wonderful months. It's been a pleasure through all of it. All the flag and geography questions are sponsored by Zenny. I did think about that I could tailor questions to people as well and make it a little bit more personal and give you something. Because I would love you to, well, let's do a bit of admin. I would love it if you hit that subscribe button if you've not already hit the subscribe button. I would also love it if you are here for one of the first times, or you don't normally say hello, you don't normally contribute. Say hello and chat, that would be nice. I am trying to get over an arbitrary milestone of 100,000 subscribers, which I am coming up on soon. So it would be lovely if you would hit that subscribe button. But really what really matters is going and watching the videos. That's all I really care about. So if you watch my videos, thank you. If you click subscribe, thank you. If you comment on the videos, thank you. All that good stuff. If that isn't enough for you and you feel you must contribute more, then there is the opportunity to join as a channel member. So let me find the page where I can talk about memberships and what they provide. Well prepared. This is why I was late, because I was farting about doing this. So channel memberships, I will just say, if your goal is to line my pockets, don't feel you have to, but if that is your goal, channel membership probably isn't the way to do that. If you're watching channel partner, sorry, because YouTube takes something like 40% of the money. But it does trickle down. I get some of it. So there are links in the description if you just want to give me money, but I'm fine with, but I have no expectations anyone will ever do anything like that. But the membership bonuses, there's so many buttons to bloody click. I have two levels at the moment. One for $1.99, where you get all the fancy badges and emojis that you get to use in chat and live streams and things like that, which is great. And you get extra points in the first quiz. So that's your $1.99. You get to feel all nice and warm that you're supporting me and helping me feed some fish and all that kind of stuff. There's a $4.99 level where you get a shout out in videos, i.e. you get your name added to the back of the outro. A thank you in there. You get a discount code for Aquarium Adventures, so anything you want to buy off Aquarium Adventures, you get a discount code. To claim that, you just go on Discord and say, I'm a member, give me my code, and I will give you your code. You get an extra life on the Eliminator quiz. So Eliminator's 10 questions, I get one wrong, you're out. Now you get an extra life. And the new perk is that you get to sponsor a quiz question, so that you can, it doesn't have to be your YouTube channel, it could be whatever you want to promote. You just get a little slot under the question saying, this question is sponsored by, and a link to whatever you want. So I'm trying to give a little bit more value, because I just, at the moment, I cannot do what most people will do, is they'll have like members only live streams or extra videos or extra content or early content. I just don't have the time to do that. So I'm never going to be able to do that unless I get made redundant, then I have loads of time. I'd rather not have that. So it's a case of what can I fit into that. I really appreciate anyone that does give up their hard-earned money. So I'm trying to give something back for it. So that's where we're at. So thank you for that. If you want to, please join. If you want to subscribe, super chats, all those good things, they're there as options. Be lovely to have you as part of the Aquarium Adventures family. I think we're called the Adventurers. But I'm very much looking at it as a community rather than like it's my thing. So we need to come together and decide what we do as a community, and we use my platform to achieve the things, whatever they may be. That makes sense? That makes sense. Hopefully. So that's enough of that farting about. A shiny pen, free with life insurance from. I think shiny pen will be free with any order from Aquarium Adventures for like the next 6 months probably, because I've got a box that's yay big, full of them. So you will be getting all kinds of things. Jonathan's in. Good evening, Jonathan. Has Graham fallen asleep again? Have I fallen asleep again? Are we still live? No, I appear to be live. I don't know. Matt says, evening all, I'm off up to Abyss Aquatics and Ormston Aquatics for a Sunday drive and fish shopping. I've heard good things about both of those. So, yeah, you'll need to report back on what you hear. That's another thing I'm planning on doing more of, is more getting out. I've been really ill this week, so this does all join together. I've been really ill this week, so I've done my taxis for the year. Because that's what you do when you're ill, isn't it? So I've done my taxis from April 24 to April 25 and submitted them and everything. So I'm like well ahead of the curve. And it made me think I should get out there more, because I get to claim petrol money back for it. So I can go and visit the fish shop and be paid 45p a mile to do so. So I'm like, yeah, of course, that's the little bit of incentive or motivation to push me over the edge to get off my fat arse and get out and visit some places. I don't even need to buy anything when I go there. Just, I can call it content research or something like that. But I have been thinking about visiting a few places and maybe reaching out to them and doing a bit of a feature rather than just... One of the reasons I stopped doing store visits and that kind of thing is they tended to be, me as well, but everybody, it tended to be, I'm here at blah 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 aquatics. That's one tank. There's another tank. There's another tank. There's another tank. There's another tank. And you're like, done 10 videos and they're all identical, but just in a different shop. So I got bored of them and assumed everyone else got bored of them, but I was wrong, because everyone else still does them and everybody loves shop visits. But I'm trying to make it a little bit more interesting, where it's not me doing like a guerrilla sneak attack of trying to film what's going on in the store, but maybe talking to the owners about what their challenges are, what's motivates them to run an aquatics business, what's working, what's not working, how could we help, what would they like to see, what's good in the industry, what's bad in the industry, all that kind of stuff, rather than just there's some neon tetras, there's some more neon tetras. Oh no, they might be cardinal tetras. Oh, do you know what I mean? Oh, so I'm hoping to make it a little bit better than that, and just up the variation of the content that I produce, which can only be good. Ewan McDonald, good evening, Ewan. Nice to see you. Rebecca says, Abyss Aquatics has great customer service for online orders. I need to visit it and Ormston. Yeah, I've heard good things about both of them, to be fair. So, yeah, I think I've made a lot of videos and done a lot of things to say the local fish store is important. We should try and support it and keep it. I've done the local fish store tracker on my website. So if I do have a platform, if I'm getting to 100,000 subscribers, I would love to use that to support them in some way and give them a bit of a showcase and a bit of a leg up. So that should be good. I found out we had a new aquatic store here 6 weeks after it opened. Southwest Marines and Tropicals. Very good. Yeah, well, what you still in Bristol? Well, that'd give me loads of mileage to claim back. I've used the best. Very good. I do like to visit. Yeah, I do like to visit just to get and see what it is. Mandy says I have technically been a mod even longer since back in the Meet the Mods days, but it lapsed for a bit when I took a break and my credit card expired. It's fine. You'll always be chief mod here. You've put in a shift, let's say. And there is Adam showing off all the. I mean, we might even have more emojis that we can turn to. I haven't checked this in a while. Badges and emojis. Oh no, we do have loads more badges that I could upload. And I need another 7 members to get an extra emoji. There you go. That's all that to think of. Since I don't have a channel, this is going to... Technically, you do have a channel because I have linked to it. There's nothing on it, but I have linked to your channel. It was Nigel that was frozen, not me. I did not fall asleep on you. Never again. Well, never say never, but not on purpose again. You think I'd like Ormston? It's a fantastic shop with oddball fish as well as your run-in-the-mill fish too, and reptiles. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about fish shops recently, and definitely not starting my own fish shop, but potentially expanding into a business of some sort, whether that be the traditional YouTuber journey of, and I kind of finally understand why people do this, the YouTuber journey of making videos in their garage, in their basement with their fish tanks, to going and buying a studio or renting a studio or a place of business and filling that with tanks or something along those lines. It's because, certainly in the UK, you get so much more tax relief if you don't operate out of your home. So I can't claim for electricity, heating, loads of like utility type costs that I bear would all be written off if this was a business premises, but I just can't do that because I work from home. So it kind of almost makes sense for me to pay 500 quid a month rent so as I can then write off all the costs of running that place because it's a proper place of business, and then I can do more things with it. So that's the kind of things that are starting to creep into my head and corrupt my brain into what should I do? What is the next phase of Aquarium Adventures going to look like? So I've been thinking about that. Do I go down the gallery route where I can just have lots of storage space? It could be part warehouse, part gallery, part studio, something like that. So I can, because I do have a business, I do have lots of stock. I've got piles of fish food and like bags, mailers, mailing boxes, mailing bags, stickers, printer cartridges, stickers, jiffy bags up the wazoo. It takes a lot of storage and takes up a lot of space that I like to use for fish tanks, really, as well as all the other ancillary stuff that goes with running a business. I mean, if I say running a business, it's not like I'm a titan of industry. It's a very much a me, myself, and I business where I'm posting things out every day. But having a more organized, bigger space to do those kind of things would make sense. And if I could then expand it into like having a working space in a studio, you've seen my fish room. I'm like moving around trying to get things done. Just having a bit more space to be able to, like, this whole aquascaping journey of becoming a world-renowned aquascaper. I'm like, to move 5 things to be able to get enough space to start something, and then it's becoming irksome, shall we say. So I kind of get it. So I've been doing the sums into what it would be to run, even if it was to say, right, Aquarium Adventures is going to be a fish shop. It's going to be a local fish shop in Sheffield. I'm going to start a business, open to the public, retail, like every other fish shop going. I wouldn't want that. I've said for years, I don't want to do that. I have no interest in that because I don't like people. I don't think I'm a very good salesman. I don't think I'm a very personable person. People annoy me generally. So I don't want to go down that. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe I do. Maybe I am better than that. And I do speak to people. So people come to the house all the time to buy. That's another thing I don't like is like selling things from my house. It's annoying having people turn up and want to come and look at stuff, and you're like, yeah, it's my house where my wife and my kids are, and I don't want to sit in all day waiting for you to come. I'd like to be open and just have you pop in whenever you want. And I have opening hours. Um, so maybe I do want to do those things, but I don't want it to be the run. The thing that pushed me over the edge was all the shops in Sheffield are terrible, and they've been terrible for years. I went around a few weeks ago looking for supplies for my aquascaping journey. I've got loads of stuff myself, but I thought, right, let's try something a little bit different that I haven't used before. I want some different plants. I want some different, nice wood, nice rock, different things. Prepared to spend money. Went to every fish shop in Sheffield. Found nothing. It's like, look, am I the only person in the world that wants these things? So I think there is a gap in the market. My worry is that I'm the only person that it's a gap for, that everyone else is kind of fine with it around here. But I see shops like Arms and Aquatics, like your Wharfs, your even the smaller independent ones like Whirl Aquatics and Premier Aquatics and all these other ones. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to be like that. Maybe not quite as big as that, but that kind of thing. So, as I love a spreadsheet, plugged it all into the spreadsheet and see if I could make it work and use some realistic figures. Talk to some people who run shops, talk to some people in the industry to say, what are your concerns? What are your biggest costs? What are your biggest risks? How much stock do you expect to turn over? All these kind of things, and plugged it in. And realistically, I think I could get there, but there's going to be a significant investment, and it's just, there's never going to be a time to take a leap. So I really need to be made redundant or have some kind of life-changing event that forces me into it before doing it, because it's so different starting your own business than earning a very good wage as a contracted employee. I know how much money is going to be in the bank at the end of the month, every month, and what day. When you run your own business, you have no idea. So that can be a bit different and a bit difficult. So these are the things I've been thinking about this week. So I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. If any of you have worked in the industry, what your concerns are of the way the industry is going. Because I think if we lose these local shops, online's great. I'm never one to be bashing the online people saying, oh, it's making everything terrible. And, but I think there definitely is a place for offline, and being able to go and look with your own eyes and experience and see a thing. I think that does have value that people still find valuable. So that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I've waffled on now for quite a while. If you're interested later, we can go through my spreadsheet and you can tell me how good or bad all my calculations are. But for now, I will find the link to quiz, wherever it is, and put that in chat just so you can see that while you can all join while I catch up and see who else has joined while I've been waffling on about nonsense. I'm in Bristol for now. I'm looking at postdoctorates. Oh my goodness, you're going to be the eternal student. I was in a fish shop today, £3.50 for a neon tetra, £28 for 10. Yeah, and there isn't, so the markup is different for different categories of things. So if I was just to use my own supplier, I can get a neon tetra for like 70 pence. So if I sell it for £3.50, that hits my markup target, that's fine. But things like driftwood and scaping stones and all those kind of things, the markup on them is ridiculously big, but you just don't sell as much of them. People come to the fish shop to buy fish, which is why I think a lot of the stores are now trying to focus on the aquascaping thing and get people to come, because they make more money that way, make it a bit survivable. So some of the things I've been asking people is, how much of it do you sell? Are you mostly turning over fish? Are you mostly turning over rocks, or soft goods, hard goods, dry goods, live goods, plants, all that? Plants don't seem to have a great margin. So yeah, good job, Graham, picking plants to sell online. Because they have probably the worst margin out of everything. But then I understand why it's £3.50 for a neon tetra, because the costs of running a business like this can be huge. Electricity being probably the number one cost, or gas and electricity, whatever it might be. But everybody's got their hand in your pocket when you're running a business. So it's difficile. I think Jack's a good idea with his channel, and he's able to sell fish too. Yeah, and that's probably, I have thought about that several times, but I have turned my garage into specimen tanks. I've got one big 7-foot tank, an 8-foot tank, a 12-foot tank, 6-foot tank. You only need racks of fish to be able to do that. And again, I don't really want people coming to my house, because my kids live here, my family lives here. I don't want people trailing in and out constantly. I might be a snob, but yeah, I'm a snob. It's just that's something I'm not really willing to do. And I don't want to ship fish either, because that's such a faff that every few months they seem to change the rules as well about what you are and aren't allowed to do. Right, how many people have we got in the quiz so far? There's 12 of you so far. The link is in the description. I'll just paste it in again. I'll wait for a few more of you and then we'll get cracking. Running a business seems like a hassle. Well, it can be, but hassle. Running a business is a hassle. Having a job can be a hassle. My job is full of hassle. Don't like any of it, apart from being paid regularly. So to have a job that's still full of hassle, but you actually get to shape your own rules, your own way of working. Yes, there's hassle and more risk, but pros and cons, pros and cons. I'd love to own a fish store where it's closed, unlisted, and the fish are not for sale. That's kind of the gallery type, studio type bit where I get to have a shop and just pull the blinds down. Nobody gets to come in. Shadows in, nice to see you. World Aquatics is great. Yeah, I had a chat with a guy from World Aquatics when I was down at Aqua. And a few of the independent retailers down there. And there are people out there who are trying to do good things, and it's just hard to do because it's a hard world to exist in. Electricity seems to be the biggest cost, definitely. Other than, well, even rent isn't that bad. I mean, aquatic shops, I think, are blessed a little bit because they don't really need footfall, because it's not like you're like walking down the street. Oh, a shop that sells fish. I'll just pop in and buy a fish tank and some fish. No, that doesn't happen. People go to a fish shop because they want something from the fish shop. So you can get a little bit of a back street, less desirable location and still be quite popular or quite useful, which comes with lower rates and rents. So there's a lot of upsides. I'm sure there's a lot of downsides, but there's a lot of upsides. Boots and Cats, hello Rachel, nice to see you. There is the link to quiz. There are now 17 of you ready to play the quiz. If it was me, I would only open a shop at weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, you may well get away with that. There's also staff costs is obviously a big one. Most of my working out is being an owner-operated store, so it's just me. Just me working 7 days a week in a shop. That's not sustainable, so I need to build in some kind of growth plan that I can have some help, basically. A store that stocks rarer fishies can get people to travel, but the only issue is being close enough to wharf. That might actually be good, though. People travel to wharf and then pop up to yours. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily going... I'm not going to do this. Not going to do this. But if I was, I wouldn't necessarily be going down the route of rarer fishies. I would like to have some different fishies, but I understand that People buy neon tetras. People buy pink gravel. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean I'm not going to stock it, because it is going to be a business. I'm going to have to carry the things people want to buy. I would like to dedicate a percentage to the stuff that I like. So I'd like to be a discus specialist. I'd like to have a few more exotic things and a few more niche things that would tempt the people from a little bit further afield, but still cater to the people who are here and want their clown puke gravel. If that makes sense. I would argue some stores price with a set markup, and I know for a fact some do. Yeah, I think the smart thing to do is look at the order as a whole and raise some fishies. To do that is very difficult, because that takes a lot of mental gymnastics. I think what you have to do, or what would be a good idea, is to have different markups for different categories. Because you just can't have... You've got to keep things moving. You've got to keep stock turnover. And again, if it was me, this would be great for me, because I'd get to make loads and loads of content about it, about bringing new things all the time. But you're having plants sitting on shelves and they start to go bad because they're not in ideal conditions. You have fish that are hanging around too long in too small tanks, and it's just not ideal. You need to keep things moving, so you need to be adaptable and make sure you're identifying the trends quickly, so you're not buying in loads of different things at the same time that just sit there and never sell, because then you've not got space to sell the things that are selling. So I have thought about this a lot recently. You just don't want fishies to... Exactly, I don't want fish to sit there. Teresa, is there a quiz tonight? There is a quiz tonight. It's about to happen now, because we're about 5 minutes over. Sorry, anyone who's said anything. I am going to rush down to the bottom. Oh, Just Average Dan says, hi mate, pleasure to meet you today. That whole thing about people come to your house, I didn't mean you. Dan came to my house to buy some plants this evening, but it was lovely to meet you and nice to chat to you and everything, but that ultimately I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be bringing people to my house to get things. I want to be in a shop doing that. Right, where are we down to? I'd like to see you be able to breed discus and other fish and then be able to sell them as content, and you get to do something with the fish you breed. It is, but I've done that. I do like doing things like that, and we'll always do it, but I don't know if I want to do it like commercially. And again, it takes up a lot of space, so I would need more space to do that. If you're going to breed discus, if you look at some of really old videos, you need a breeding tank, you need a grow-on tank, and then you need holding tank, multiple of each. That takes up a lot of space just to concentrate on discus. It's very rewarding, don't get me wrong, but you know, it can take a bit much. Right, are we ready for the quiz? Are we all ready? We've still only got 17 of you, so what the hell? Let me kick it off anyway. Start the countdown. Little face. There we go. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I should sit here. So, welcome to the quiz, everybody. Good luck. Remember, fastest to answer gets the most points. There'll be 2 gambling questions, questions 10 and questions 20. And the first 3 questions are sponsored. So hopefully on your screen you should say, question 1, sponsored by the Zen Ginger. And if you were to click that link, that would take you to her. It won't close the quiz, so you feel free to click it. It will take you to her YouTube page. Question 1. By both area and population, which of the world's continents is the largest? Is it Africa, Antarctica, Asia, or Europe? What do you think? Graham's Giant Gourami Gallery. I think I'd like to stick with the Aquarium Adventures branding, but that's got a ring to it as well. Nice one. Didn't realize we started, sorry. So, what do we think? Most of you going for Asia. The correct answer is Asia. Of course it is. Well done. Shadow got that one fastest. A little bit faster than Elaine and Blawater. Right. Question number 2, which is sponsored by Adam C. A pair of British women arrived on Australia's east coast on Saturday after 6 months of rowing. Starting where? Where did they start from? India, New Zealand, England, or Peru? 6 months of rowing. Where did they start from? I'm all bunged up again. Have more lemsips. More medicinal beers. You think they started in New Zealand? It took them 6 months to row from New Zealand to Australia. They started in Peru. Well done, Elaine. Well done, Blawater. And Mark. And Maureen. This is one of your in the news this day questions. Oh, someone wants their points. Adam has asked for his points. Remember, another member benefit is you get extra points in the quiz. So, oh, Mandy wants them too. Okay, Zenny is down here, 66. I'm even using the calculator for the easy ones to work out just because of previous history. Adam, who are you, Adam? Are you Blawater? I'm going to assume you're Blawater. I'll add it on in the next question if you confirm what your name is in the quiz. Question 3. Cats have the largest blank relative to their head size of any mammal. Is it the largest ears, eyes, teeth, or whiskers? Yes, you are Blawater. You thought it was eyes or whiskers. It is eyes. I forgot who sponsored that one. I think that might have been Mickey's Aquarium sponsored question number 3. So you see what it is? I wonder how many people that will entice. Adam, you want some Blawater extra points. Goes up to 303. And we move on to question number 4. Which ocean hosts the deepest point on the Earth's surface, known as the Challenger Deep? Is it the Arctic Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, or the Pacific Ocean? The Challenger Deep is approximately 36,000 feet deep, located in the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. It is indeed. Oh my days, but some cats. Got cats twice in your name and you got the cat question wrong. It's apparently National Cat Day or International Cat Day. Some kind of cat day, hence the cat question. Cats. Question number 5. Which river passes through the most US states? Is it the Colorado River, the Mississippi, the Missouri, or the Rio Grande? Give you a clue and tell you it's 10 states that it passes through. You all thought it was the Mississippi. It is. Flows through 10 states, which are Minnesota, Wisconsin. That's hard for me to say. Why? Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Now you know. Yeah, does that count as geography? I guess it does. Sorry. Question number 6. Which country holds the record for the hottest air temperature ever reliably recorded on Earth? Australia. Sorry, Australians. Australia, Iran, Kuwait, or the United States? What do we think? Australia, Iran, Kuwait, or United States? Ooh. 6 each for Australia, Kuwait, and the United States. It was, in fact, the United States. It is, as I think Rachel has just said, Furnace Creek in Death Valley, California, recorded temperatures of 56.7 degrees centigrade, Celsius. Adam retains his healthy lead over Error 404. Stevie P makes it up into 3rd. Remember, you still got your points, Stephen. Question 7. In 2005, the very first YouTube video uploaded on the platform was filmed at a zoo, diner, library, or concert. I don't know why I read them in that order. $75 points for Stevie P. Well, people going for zoo. It was indeed zoo. Its first video uploaded to YouTube on April 23rd, 2005. It was called Me at the Zoo. Stephen wants 75 points, so we will add that to there. Takes you up to 507. Puts you into the lead. Question number 8. In 1945, what was the first food to be deliberately microwaved? Was it bacon, eggs, milk, or popcorn? That implies some food was accidentally microwaved before that. Bacon, egg, milks? Just one milk. Milk or popcorn? Most of you going for popcorn. Most of you correct. Well done. In 1945, Percy Spencer, an engineer experimenting with microwave radiation during a radar project, noticed that it had cooking effects when a chocolate bar began to melt in his pocket. Now you know. The obscurity of these questions is making me genuinely furious. My work here is done. Do you remember when microwaves were as big as an oven? I do remember when microwaves were a lot bigger, yes. And I do remember as a kid, lots of people being afraid of microwaves as well. Like often being told, don't stand there, the microwave's on. Okay. Question number 9. Deb's Aquapets, nice to see you, good evening. Which of these cartoon characters is most known for their distinctive laugh? Is it Woody Woodpecker, Wile E. Coyote, Jerry Mouse, or Maggie Simpson? I'm trying to remember the laugh now. I can't quite remember it. Something like that. Meep, meep. Oh, that was Roadrunner, wasn't it? Everyone has gone for Woody Woodpecker. So this is a question of who got there first. Because it was indeed Woody Woodpecker. Scat Rachel was pretty fast on that one, 87 points. I don't think I saw anyone faster than that. I remember being scolded for standing in front of the microwave. Yeah, me too. I wanted to watch the food cook. Right, here comes your first gambling question of the evening. Remember, you don't have to gamble, but if you don't, you can't win any points, even with a correct answer. Good luck. Here comes your cryptic clue. Vroom, vroom, meep, meep. What could that possibly mean? What man is credited with developing the first gasoline-powered automobile? Is it Carl Benz, Gottlieb Daimler, Henry Ford, or Louis Chevrolet? All I can say is there's going to be lots of upset people in a second. Rebecca says, all are car people. All are car people. Yes, you're quite right. You've mostly gone for Henry Ford. The answer is indeed Carl Benz. Henry Ford invented the mass process production line system. First mass produced car, rather than the first car. So, born Carl Frederick Michael Valiant, Carl Benz's patented motor wagon from 1885 is considered the first practical modern automobile. So, what's that done to the scores? Stevie P got it, Blackwater got it, Era404 got it, Zenny got it, John, Mr. Swimmer, and all these people lost their points. Sorry, I'll repeat that because it was muted. Sorry, I'll repeat that again because it was still muted. Question 11. Don't worry, you can still come back from this. A person suffering from sebophobia has a fear of what? Food, mirrors, snow, or spending money? Sebophobia. Food, mirrors, snow, or spending? What do we think of the drunken sailor? What do we think of the drunken? You think it's mirrors. It's food. Sebophobia is an unusual and complex phobia where individuals have a fear of food. The aversion or anxiety is typically due to a belief that food is bad or contaminated. At least I was wrong with the majority. I mean, that is a comfort to some. Not a fear, just a dislike. Yeah, maybe. I mean, is fear just another level of dislike? There's you got all the big philosophical questions on this live stream. Question 12. What location does the W stand for in the internet acronym NSFW? Wilderness, wedding, website, or work? This is a Crew Republic Jackpot Hazy IPA, which is very nice. Juicy. Oh, again, more of a spread than I thought. I thought this would have been an easy one. It stands for Not Safe for Work. Usually applies to pornographic material. Okay. So, yes, it was work. My son had this when he was very young. He got so skinny, almost choked, and then refused to eat for almost 3 months. Yeah. Question 13. As part of its space program, what country sent a stray cat into space in 1963? Australia. Oh, got to try to do the accents. Australia, China, France, or Russia? Australia, China, France, Russia. Remember, it's International Cat Week. They've been brushing up on your cat knowledge, everyone. Clearly went because the answer is France. 1963, France sent its first and only cat named Félicette into space. A stray picked from the Parisian streets and launched aboard a French... What a horrible thing to do. Launched aboard the Veronique rocket from a base in Algeria as part of a scientific mission to study the biological effects of space travel. Oh, her mission was successful and she returned safely, making Félicette a pioneer of space travel and earning her the affectionate nickname Astrocat. Can't believe it came back. It must have been shitting itself. Sorry for being vulgar, but you know what I mean. Should have known the cat looked French. The cat was like, oh, yeah. Question number 14. In what classic fairy tale does a pumpkin turn into a carriage? Cinderella, Goldilocks, Hansel and Gretel, or Little Red Riding Hood? Henri le Chat Noir. Imagine what was going on in that cat. I know, what a horrible thing. Poor cat. What do we think, people? We think it was Cinderella. Of course it was. They're not all hard questions. About how fast you get it. Stevie P maintains a slim lead over Adam, who has a slim lead over Error 404. Shadow making a comeback. Rebecca's given up. Question 15. What Star Wars character is associated with Salacious B. Crumb? Is it Darth Maul, Jabba the Hutt, the Mandalorian, or Yoda? I was today years old when I realised that thing was called Salacious B. Crumb. You think it was Jabba the Hutt. It was indeed Jabba the Hutt. He was the little thing that sat giggling and bouncing next to Jabba. Often seen perched near Jabba, delighting in his mischievous laughter at the misfortunes of those around him. Oh, error 404, John, Elaine, and Lemoy missing out on that one, along with Lee and Navy Nige. Question 16. What soup brand is depicted in Andy Warhol's 1962 series of 32 paintings of soup cans? Was it Progresso soup, Heinz soup, Campbell's soup, General Mills soup? Most of you going for Campbell's soup. It was indeed Campbell's soup. I mean, this has got to be one of the biggest jokes in the art world has ever pulled. Meant to be some kind of critique on modern culture and how things are mass produced, but he literally just drew a picture of a can of soup. Am I wrong? Most of you getting that one. Well done, everybody. Oh, pardon me. Question 17. How many total triangles are on a traditional backgammon board? There's another art question coming, Lisa, so, don't throw that degree out quite yet. Oh, somebody has just subscribed. Mod Sile, hello. What about the banana that was taped to the wall? I think that was worse. Yep. Can't argue with you there. Oh, we really don't know about this one. The answer is 24. A backgammon board consists of 24 narrow triangles, commonly known as points. These points alternate in colour and are distributed equally on each player's side of the board. 12 for each player. I mean, is this the most diverse quiz on the entire internet? We've gone from backgammon to Andy Warhol to rowing across the Pacific to... Question 18. According to a Scottish legend, what saved the clans from Viking invasion? Was it a horn, a mermaid, a thistle, or a unicorn? That isn't me in the picture, by the way. Just thought I'd make that clear. Oh, a few for unicorn, a few for mermaid, but most of you going for the thistle. Oh, we've had this one before. Oh, dear. Oh, well, we've had it before. It was indeed the thistle. Legend has it that the Norse Vikings were creeping up and stood on a thistle and went, ow! Then they woke them up. Scottish people bonked them on the head with swords. Now you know. Question 19, your penultimate question of the evening. Cats, like camels and blank, walk by moving both feet on one side of their body forward at the same time. I read this question several times and looked at the picture of the cat not moving both feet at the same time on each side of its body. But I think what it means is it moves each side independently rather than bum 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 bum. I know what I mean. So cats, camels, and what walk like that? Oh, elephants and giraffes tying with 7 guesses each. The answer was giraffes. Cats, camels, and giraffes are animals that share this distinctive walking pattern known as the pacing gait. It means they move both legs on one side of the body simultaneously. Horses, yeah, like dancing horses, they get trained to do that, don't they? Left, left, right, right. Yes. But the way it's worded make it sound like they're going, oh, 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 oh. I know what I mean. Right, what's the scores on the doors for the final question? Oh, close at the top. Blah, Water, Adam on 1657, Stevie P on 1600. Error 404 on 1414, but depending on how the top lot bet, it could be anyone's game. So here comes your final question, a gambling question. So here comes your gambling question. Your cryptic clue for the gambling question. Last one before we Van Gogh, as the Americans would say, or Van Gogh, we would say, or Van Gogh, as the Dutch would say. Come on, Lisa, all in. It's the art question. Which is the only painting Vincent van Gogh sold during his lifetime? Was it the Cafe Terrace at Night, Irises, Starry Night, or the Red Vineyard? Which is the only one he sold during his lifetime? Right, what do we think? 2 Cafe Terraces, 5 Irises, 3 Starry Nights, and 9 Red Vineyards. It was the Red Vineyard. Sorry, press the button. Right, press too many buttons. Are we ready to see what that has done to the scores on doors? Your winners are, in third place, Error 404, 2,828 points. DVP, 3,200 points, and your winner tonight, Blah Water. There are the final scores on doors. Zenny just pipped to the top 3. I've got a little bit of admin to do some bit of live spreadsheeting and get that sorted out. Open that up. Delete that. Copy that. Minimize that. Open this. Right, there we go. That's the current scores on doors, which hopefully you're able to see. I think we are on week 3 because we missed a week this month. Put those in there, and that means standings are in first place Stephen P on 9,358, 200 ahead of Zenny. Error 404, Blawater, Juggler are your top 5, then John, Applegal, Lemoy, Brian, and Shadow making up the top 10. Well done to all. And I see you, Rachel, with your 14 points. Did you just go to get one better than Zenny? I like tactics. I mean, you've got to go for it. So there is one more quiz in this month, I think. Yep, next Friday is still October, Halloween, spookiest of all evenings. Right. Too much guessing for Jonathan. Well, you know, if you do have to guess, then at least it's a little more even. A better one for Teresa. She liked it. You see? Well done, everyone. Well done. That's what we like. Right. So, let me just quickly check. Get rid of that. Sorry, got buttons all over the place to press. I want to go straight in to the Eliminator tonight because I'm quite proud of this one. I expressed my creative side, and we have a new style of Eliminator based on Graham being unable to press the bloody button that makes it work. Based on the highbrow art of the Limerick. So you're going to get 10 limericks, which are a limerick I have written about a fish, and your job is to guess what the fish is. That makes sense? Oh, hopefully it will when we actually start playing it. So it's an open text one. You just type in what you think. If you're close enough, I'll give you the points. If you get a question wrong, you're out, but keep playing anyway. Everyone can keep playing. If you are a hero member, you get an extra life to get all the way through to 10 to be a winner. And if it's a tie, we will do some GeoGuessr. Causing problems down there. There we go. Jonathan thinks I will fail this abysmally. That's it. Positive mental attitude. That'll get you through. It'll be fine. So, if you like the scanny thing, there is the scanny thing. If you prepare to click the linky thing, there is the linky thing. No maps in this. It is all limericks. 10 limericks. Think of it as 10 ditties to fishies. Now, there are some artistic licenses needed in some of them because the form of the limerick and having to make 3 of the lines rhyme and 2 of the lines rhyme. That's easy for me to say. I've had to take some artistic liberties to get there, but hopefully there'll be enough information for you to guess here. I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to be one of those weeks where either everybody's out in round 1 or everybody's still in round 10. But we'll play it by ears and see how we go. And then we will use the rest of the evening to chat about whatever you want to chat about. For instance, today is my 20-year anniversary. And I'm doing a live stream instead of spending the evening with my good lady wife. Surely that's worth a subscribe hit or something like that. I mean, she's probably fast asleep on the couch at this point, so it's not like I'm missing out on anything, but you know, I think we're going to go out tomorrow instead. I'm not a complete heathen and horrible person. But 20 years ago today, a man that looks like what Elvis would look like if he was still alive married me and my good lady wife in Las Vegas. Shame on you. I think this is horseshit. The tiebreaker is geography. Geography. Where do you live again, Zen? I think I've got your address somewhere. Maybe I'll put the GeoGuessr tag on your street. That'd be like doxing you. I won't do that. Sorry, that wasn't a threat. That was just. Congratulations on 2 decades of not getting buried in the backyard. That's where I was coming from. I've done well. I even have a sneaking suspicion she still kind of likes me as well. Who'd have thunk it? Right, we've got 15 of you are in for my poetry. Welcome to my poetry evening, everyone. You ready to be slammed by my poetry? Here's an interesting thing. Well, it might not be interesting. Here's a thing. How do you pronounce... I don't know how to say it without pronouncing it. I'm Scottish, and I realised, having been in Scotland recently, and having to read a poem, that everybody in Scotland pronounces poem as poem, as if it's got a Y in it. Does anywhere else do that? Or is it just the Scots? Poem or poem? Right, we've got 16 of us already for the Eliminator. I've given you a little bit of extra time for the first question, just to understand. Poem or poem? Oh. Oh. Sorry, I think bloody things just crashed on my end. Oh no, I think we're still okay. So I've given you a little bit of extra time for the first question just to get used to the format. So are we ready to go? Ready to go? Where I live, after 20 years, you'd be on the hook for lifetime alimony. Don't ask me how I know. So question 1. My name hints I glow in the night, though really it's just a delight. I'm friendly and bright, and numbers a sight, and my signature marks are red-white. So what am I? Type in chat what fish you think that is. My name hints I glow in the night, though really it's just a delight. I'm friendly and bright, and numbers a sight, and my signature marks are red-white. Okay, everybody out on question 1 then. No bother. No, I'm kidding. Yes, they're all fish, Lisa. Everyone's a fish. I thought I'd try and lean into the whole fish side of the hobby. My name hints a glow in the night, though really it's just a delight. I'm friendly and bright, and numbers a sight, and my signature marks are red-white. We've got Neon Tetra, Glow Light Daniel, Rummy Nose, and Goldfish. Sorry, shouldn't laugh. It's not Goldfish. The answer I was looking for was Neon Tetra. My name hints I glow in the night, neon. My signature marks are red, white, red and white, red and blue. It's got a bit of white in the bottom. That's it. A little bit of artistic license to make it rhyme, you know? So that was Neon Tetra, and U7 are still in. CVP, Error 404, Blackwater, Applegull, Morley, Zenny, and Lemoy. I thought the answer had to rhyme with the poem. No. So it's a poem about a fish. It's a limerick. It's not a poem. Let's be not too highbrow about this. It's a limerick describing vaguely a fish. So it's 60 seconds, okay? The rest of them are all 45 seconds. So I don't know if you want me to up them all to 60. I know they're red and blue, but they've also got white. And white rhymes with bright, sight, and night. Blue doesn't. Question 2. A bubble nest builder am I flare with a fin-standing cry. My colours will blaze in many displays, and my mood swings are quick as the sky. A bubble nest builder am I flare with a fin-standing cry. My colours will blaze in many displays, and my mood swings as quick as the sky. What do we think? I will give you bad spelling. Brian. Yes. If I started with that one, okay. I mean, you still might be the winner with only 9 correct answers. One person went shark. Everyone else went better. It is indeed better. Right, so we're in the swing of it now. Question 3. I'm small and swim to and fro. My tail has a colourful glow. I'm lively and fast, with fry unsurpassed. Dressed in lace, snakeskin, or tuxedo. That one's a bit of a stretch to get that to rhyme. I'm small and I swim to and fro. My tail has a colourful glow. I'm lively and fast, with fry unsurpassed. Dressed in lace, snakeskin, or tuxedo. Pretty sure someone's just going to answer Rummy Nose Tetra for every question. Right, we have some answers. 8 of you have gone for Guppy, 1 for Endler. I mean, Guppy's Endlers are very similar, but the answer I had on the card was Guppy. Like lace Guppy, snakeskin Guppy, tuxedo Guppy. Dropped down to 5 survivors now. Stevie P, Applegal, Mona Lee, Zenny, and Lemoy. Question 4. Or Limerick 4, should I say. I've whiskers and armour, no doubt, and I love rooting plants. I love rooting plant roots about. I'm gentle, not mean, and I tidy your steen. Studied by Rebecca throughout. That was hard to say. I've whiskers and armour, no doubt, and love rooting plant roots about. I'm gentle, not mean, and I tidy your scene. Studied by Rebecca throughout. Right, I've had to add in a few for spelling. Live answers. We've gone for Pleco from 9 of you. I've included in that Bristlenose and In one case, bristlenose loricaridae. Cory, guppies, Corydoras. What? Brittleness graham fish. Not getting that. The answer was indeed pleco. I would have accepted plecostomus, bristlenose plecostomus, bristlenose pleco, bristlenose, loricaridae, pleco, plecostomus. I have whiskers and armour no doubt, love rooting plants roots about. I'm gentle, not mean, and tidy your scene, studied rare by Rebecca throughout. You got a mention. You'd clip this and post it on your channel, it'll go viral. You won't. Question number, oh no, let's see who's still in. Zenny, Mona Lee, Apple Gal, and Stevie P still in. Question number 5. I'm tiny, quite cute. No, start again. I'm tiny yet cute, quite the fave. I puff up if danger's what I crave. Though tiny in size, I'll glare with my eyes, and shrimp seldom leave my enclave. What do we think? Now, we've got a couple of puffer fish there. I was looking for a more specific pea puffer. I don't think I can give you puffer fish because it's not a mubu, it's a tiny pea puffer. So we're literally down to Stevie P and Zenny. I'd have given you pygmy puffer, pea puffer, murder bean, or Nile, not Nile, Indian. What was the other? I've clicked off it now. Question number 6. I'm orange with fins that delight. In ponds I swim without care. I'm happy and bold and quite often sold as the first pet you get from the fair. I realised that one doesn't actually rhyme. I've gone wrong somewhere there. I'm orange with fins that delight. In ponds I swim without care. I'm hungry, I'm hardy and bold and quite often sold as the first pet you get from the fair. I want to know what fair's giving away koi as a prize. The answer was, of course, goldfish. Enough of it rhymes. It's fine. Yeah. Some of it rhymed. Well, after 5 of these, I was getting a bit. Here we go. Question number 7. A giant who eats quite a lot. A fish-killing beast when he's bought. He'll learn who you are from near or afar, but you'll need a third mega tank spot. There's a lot of alternate answers to this one. A lot of bad spelling on this one as well. Brian the Goramami. Goramami. I mean, I know what you meant. So, a giant who eats quite a lot, a fish killing beast when he's bought. He'll learn who you are from near or afar, but you'll need a third mega tank spot. Of course, it's point there. Of course, it's Brian, the fish murdering, mega tank requiring, channel mascot type fish. So I would have accepted Brian, giant gourami, Brian the giant gourami called Brian, Brian the big fish, Brian the giant goramamami. So there you go. Right, question number 8. Just after this, Zenny and Stevie P both still in. I hail from the Amazon deep, where tannins and leaf litter creep. I guard my own brood, sometimes called cockatoo, but I'm tough for beginners to keep. Yeah, I'm starting to reach at this point. Afar equals Oscar. Yeah, it doesn't rhyme with the fish. It's just describing the fish. The limerick itself is going to rhyme, but it doesn't rhyme with the fish. If that makes sense. I hail from the Amazon deep, where tannins and leaf litter creep. I guard my own brood, sometimes called cockatoo, but I'm tough for beginners to keep. Oh, and we need some more. I think we've got them all. You've gone for Epistogramma, Discus, Cichlid. That's technically right, but I need a bit more than that. Rams and Blood Parrot. It was indeed Epistogramma. The cockatoo is the giveaway on that one. So Epistogramma is your winner. Denny and Stevie P both still in. Oh, it's getting exciting. Getting so exciting, my foot's now starting to itch. Question number 9. My shape could resemble a curl. From your wallet, I make notes unfurl. Like floating on air, I make everyone stare. I'm the king of the freshwater world. That's not floating on AI. That's meant to say floating on air. My shape could resemble a curl. From your wallet, I make notes unfurl. Like floating on air, I make everyone stare. I'm the king of the freshwater world. I now get to mock all the people who think something other than Discus is the king of the freshwater world. 4 of you gone for Discus, 1 for Koi, 2 for Arowana, 1 for Biter, 1 for Flowerhorn, It was indeed Discus, the king of the freshwater world. Oh, hang on, I forgot to put in Discus. Got to put in the answer. There you go. There we go. That's better. A curl, like a round curl. I had to get something that that rhymed with world, unfurl, curl. I did say there's a bit of a stretch in some of these. So, who's still in? Stevie P, we've lost Zenny. Oh, she was thinking of an eel because of curl. You know, with poetry, you get to make giant leaps in literary reference. Curl, evoking round. Round, like a discus. Curl, it's round. Yeah, makes sense to me. Final question, Stevie P. Let's see what he can do. But you're still in, Zenny, because you are a hero member. Red, orange, blue, amongst others, are some colours posted. Oh. Red, orange, blue, amongst others, are some colours passed down from our mothers. Find us if you pause on a trip down to Oz or near where the leprechauns mutter. That was a mouthful, that one. Red, orange, blue, amongst others, are some colours passed down from our mothers. Find us if you pause on a trip down to Oz or near where the leprechauns mutter. I was quite proud of this one. I don't think it's particularly hard, but I think it's the best limerick, so that's why I put it at the end. Sorry, my shoe's falling off now. Red, orange, blue, amongst others, are some colours passed down from our mothers. Find us if you pause on a trip down to Oz or near where the leprechauns mutter. We've got 5 rainbow fish, 1 no ideals, 1 rainbow's fish. I'll give you that. A goldfish and an arowana. It was, of course, rainbow fish. Red, orange, blue, amongst others. You get them. You get some in Australia, a trip down to Oz, or near where the leprechauns mutter, under a rainbow. Clever, eh? I'm very proud. I'm patting myself on the back for that one. I was quite clever. Proud of that. Did Stephen get that one right? I assume he did, because he does like his rainbow fish. Eliminated with 9 correct answers, both Error 404 and Zenny. So technically, Zenny is a winner too. Error 404, you're just 1 membership away from being a winner. 7 for Lemoy, Blawater, Moner Lee. 6 for Scat John, Applegal. 5 for Doug, Elaine, and Navy Nige, Glowworm, No Chance, Teresa, Shadow, and Mr. Swimmer were also here. But well done, Stephen. 1 more round of applause for you. What did you think about that one? Stephen says, I'm totally fine with not playing GeoGuessr. Fine. Be like that. We'll just give you the win anyway, because Mandy would have beat you at it. So, there we go. The quiz is knocked out in record time this week, which gives us half an hour to chat about whatever the hell you want to chat about. A little bit of admin. I am booked in to appear. No, I'm not appear. Well, I will appear because I will be there. I am going to the Bradford. Let me see if I can find what it's called. I'm going to the Bradford Aquatic Society on the 9th of November for the auction. Be taking some stuff to sell and checking out what's going on at the auction, if there's anything good there. Again, part of my getting out and about thing. We'll see if there's anything worth filming or not, but mostly going to take some stock. See if we can shift. I'm making a concerted effort to concentrate on doing some business and selling some things and making some moves rather than just got a website, go check it out if you want. I'm going to start promoting it and all that. I'm seeing lots of good results from trying a bit harder with making sure I post content on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube more often. It seems to be making a difference. Who would have thought that putting in effort would have made a difference? So if you are in that neck of the woods, pardon me, yeah, Bradford Aquatic Society on the 9th of November, come along to their auction and say hello. Teresa says, water change, do you take just a bit out or all of it? Do you do it once a month? Just a bit. So yeah, I wouldn't do. I do remember when I was a kid, my grandpa had a goldfish which lived in a bowl in the kitchen. And when I say a bowl, it was like this big, tiny little bowl. The fish was the size of the bowl. And how he would clean it. So he had the bowl, a very thin layer of gravel, only just enough gravel to cover the bottom of it. And how he would clean it would be literally once a month, he would take the fish out, lie it in the sink, tip the water out, turn the tap on, swirl the gravel around, tip it out again, fill it up, grab the fish which was flopping about in the sink, and stick it back in the tank. That fish lived to like 20 years old, something like that. It obviously did not have a nice life, but when I see questions like that, do you do all the water or whatever? I realised that there was a time where people did do things like that, and it's whether they didn't do the research or didn't look up at books. Information is so readily available now that I'm glad people do ask questions like that. So I would definitely not do all the water. I would be guided by your parameters. So if you're quite new to fish keeping, for instance, I put a lot of stock into water testing and finding out what's going on in your aquarium, making sure you know what's happening. And doing water changes regularly is good. But understanding what a water change is doing to your aquarium, as in how much does it affect the parameters that are in your aquarium, helps you become a better aquarist. So just doing 20% once a week is good. No one's argued that's not going to be a good thing to do, but knowing that a week without water changes makes your nitrates rise to X level, or you've still got some ammonia in your aquarium, so you really need to be doing more than that or less than that. And all about checking out and understanding what's going on in your aquarium. So, as a rule of thumb, definitely want to be doing monthly water changes, if not more often. But I would put more importance on water testing to understand what's going on and then acting accordingly. It says, walk in the door and say, Shazam! Yes. I'm here! Yeah, a load of blank faces like, huh? I've also volunteered to help out at the next SVAS auction. So the Sheaf Valley, the one that I normally go to, which is my local fish club. I've been talking to them and said I'm happy to volunteer and help run the auction a little bit better, because I thought rather than just complaining about how badly run it is, because it isn't really, and I shouldn't complain, there are just some few sticky points where I'm a bit like, oh, that really annoys me. I wish they wouldn't do that. So I told them. They did ask for feedback. I didn't just go up and say, hello, that auction that I come to and really enjoy, it's shit. No, I don't do that. So I made an offer because they were asking for ideas and feedback on how it had gone. So we talked to them a bit back and forth. And yeah, hopefully I'll do a little bit more the next time. We're going to do things like, so some suggestions where have a camera and a big screen so as people can see what's being auctioned off. But I think there's more fundamental problems than that, because they do swap out auctioneers. And one of the auctioneers, anytime he's got a fish, so if he's got like, this is a bag of fish, for instance, people like that. Right, we've got 2 epistogrammas, £1, £2, £3, £4, and you're like, fucking hell, that fish in there's like in a washing machine giving it all that, and you're like, put down the fish, stop waving it around. And I've been before when they've had cameras and a screen, and they had the camera was a potato, and the screen was, I don't know, it's like a prototype from the 1990s, and it was like I can see even less now than I could from 50 feet away. So I've offered my camera and to bring a laptop and a screen and everything to make it a little bit easier for them to run that. But I think just putting the lot on the screen of what it is that's being sold, because sometimes there's one guy that's so quiet, you're like, what is it? And they can't hear what we're saying, so they just crack on going, pound, pound, pound. No, okay. And we're like, we didn't know what is it? So if you could just have like bristlenose pleco, albino, longfin, whatever, just have it up on the screen that what you're talking about. I think that would solve a lot of the um, missed bids and the missed opportunities. I still think there's some questionable going on. I used to complain because they used to do the bids would be if you had several of the same thing. So let's say it was a neon tetra. They're like neon tetra, pound, pound, £2, £3, blah, blah. Then they'd always say it got up to £10. It would not a neon tetra, but say it got up to £10. They'd be like, £10 sold. How many do you want? And they'd be like, one. He's go, well, I've got 10. So does anybody else want one? And then he'd just sit quiet and they'd go, anybody want one for £9, for £8, for £7? So you just sit quietly until he got right back down to £1. And he's like, oh, go on then, I'll have it for £1. And you could get 9 for £9 where someone else got 1 for 10. So it's a bit like, that doesn't seem fair. But the way they do it now is, well, it's arguably better and worse. The way they do it now is whatever it gets bid up to, neon tetra goes for a £10 and the person says he only wants one. They then offer for the last bid any more fish. So if they only want one, it's like, anybody else want one for £10? And that's, everyone else is like, no, I don't want a neon tetra for £10. Okay, unsold, so they don't get sold. So rather than actually getting sales out of the fish for a good price, they're losing out on lots of sales. Now I get why they've done it, because people complain the one way, and they get why they've changed it, but people are now complaining the other way. So I don't know quite what the answer is there. But a middle ground between those two options is probably the right thing to do. And there was a lot of like, right, we're not going to auction this stuff. It's just, we've got 20 bags of fish food, £1 each, who wants one? And that'd be like 15 minutes while they sorted that out. And I'm like, nobody cares. Or people did care, because people were buying them, but they just didn't have enough runners and staff to be able to handle that. They should just have a table at the side for dry goods that are just being sold at a price, rather than trying to integrate it into the auction. It just doesn't seem like it's a good use of time and resources. So I had some feedback. They took it well. I offered to help. They accepted my offer. So hopefully at the next auction we'll do something together, and that could make it quite good. Holy crap, we're done with the quizzes before. I know, imagine that. We finished in time. Is there a web link for the auction? I don't know. I've been looking for the page for the Bradford Society. I can't really see it. Doesn't have any auction. I think you just have to turn up. I'm appearing at the auction, yes. I'm appearing in as much as I will turn up and appear there. Nobody ever thought of water changing in the 60s. And, but you know, that's one of the problems with the old mentality of fish keepers, is they learn to do it one way and can't be told that there are new and better ways to do things. A list of the lots would be great. Yeah, I think it would, because a lot of the confusion, and there's, as someone who sits in the audience for most of it, all you can hear is people going, what was that? What is it? Is it a bristlenose? And they use very confusing terms sometimes. So the last auction I went to, as you know, I now have my pleco army. I was interested in buying all kinds of, whether it's bristlenoses, plecos, fancy plecos, whatever you want to call them. I was bidding on most of them. But one bag would be bristlenose pleco, and they'd auction that off. The next bag would be common pleco. I'd be like, common pleco or common bristlenose pleco? What are we talking about here? And by the time you go up there to ask them, can I have a look at that? What is it you're talking about? They've already sold it to somebody else. And they're like, was that a common pleco? As in common pleco? Or was that a brown bristlenose pleco? Oh, it was a bristlenose. You've been calling them bristlenose all morning, and then now all of a sudden they're common plecos. So there's a little bit, and a lot of What's this? Don't know what this is. Like, why are they accepting things that they don't know what they are? You should be labeling all your bags and boxes. Your lot should be submitted ahead of time. But in saying that, I'm sure there's lots of hard work to make this thing work at all. Never mind to make it work perfectly. So I don't want to sound like I'm slagging them off. TFH magazine said 1 inch of fish per gallon, 2 with the airstone, and nothing about what it. Yeah, no. Old advice is. That's why it changes. You should keep up with the times. Kirkcaldy auction this weekend. I know it might be a little bit too far. Although the petrol money. Yeah. Yeah, maybe not. Is the one in South Yorkshire in November? There might be. There was one in September, and I think you've got one more evening auction to go. But for some reason it's not. There is a calendar somewhere, but I can never bleed and find it. I'll go with I don't know. I've seen fish not get sold in auctions because of that, and talked to the auctioneer afterwards and got some fish for cheaper. Yeah, and there was a lot of that going on, where you could see people were like, right, whose box was that? And that's that guy over there, and that lady over there had the. Yeah, I'll go and talk to them. There was lots of deals being done in the car park, but it would just be better if they found a way to sell them all in the auction. At the auctions I've been to, there are tables each with a number. You put your fish on your tables. If you have 5 bags, you put them on 5 different tables. Auction them off at different times. Yeah, so the way they do it here is you have lots. Certainly the ones I've been to so far. So if you take 2 boxes, you might be lot 4, and they go. No matter how many boxes you take, they only sell 1 box at a time. So lot 1, sell 1 box. Lot 2, sell 1 box. Lot 3, sell 1 box. And then when they get to the end, they go back and start again. So as you're not selling all the boxes from lot 1 and just tiring out. So that way, only lots at the start would get the sales. So that is good. I do like the way to do that. I've not been to a proper fish auction, so I can't say, but reliable names are useful. Are the bags labelled? Some of them are labelled really well. And you have to remember, this is hobbyists usually selling to other hobbyists. Now, there are people who are in the trade who are using it to sell to people as well. But there's a lot of variety, shall I say, in the quality of the naming and the identification of the fish. Some of them are labelled really well. Some of them even have collection points and things like that. Some of them have date of birth. Some of them have like almost little mini care guides. Some of them have brown fish. Like, well, okay. Some of them are like the rarest fish in the world, and you're like, is that, or is it just a guppy? So it could be a bit hit and miss. Some of them use. I've seen all kinds of problems. Some of them use like label printers, when they get the really stiff labels, and that ends up bursting bags and things. Some of them use paper labels with like pencil that just wipes off, or pen that just wipes off. So it seems to be all over. They do, or they should, I think. I don't know if they do. Publish like a guide of how to sell. I've seen it in some places. I don't know if one I go to does, where they have rules like corridoras must be 2 to a bag maximum. Double bag all your bags, round bottom bags only, or whatever the rules might be, and they publish a list of how to package your fish and all that kind of stuff. But again, you're relying on people following all those rules, and they just don't really. Bags usually must be, they usually, I think everyone at least tries to. But having sold at auctions myself, I know it can be a bit of a pain because you don't want to bag fish the night before. So you're getting up early in the morning trying to bag fish, and find labels and you get wet hands, and yeah, it's a pain. It's a thing. Um, Something for your website. Could you maintain a list of auctions? I have tried to add the various groups that I've found, societies. Um, so maybe I could do something like that, like events. I think I'll probably have an events page would be good. Something the writing wears off the back, indeed. And I can see why it happens. It's not malicious or anything like that. It's just people, they're in a rush. They're doing things with wet hands. Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one. Mandy says, I've kept fish since I was 9. I'm 66 now, and I have always done regular water changes. It's just common sense to me to give the fish clean water. Yeah, and I remember when water changes. I don't remember this. I remember when people started to be surprised that they couldn't just fill up straight from the tap, or that people were saying that that was bad. I remember the arguments of people saying, I can't believe you're not doing a water change, because they were arguing that if the water was murky, you just had to get it out and get clean water in without thinking about, oh, is there chlorine in my water? Is there fluoride in my water? Is there anything else in my water that's going to mess with the parameters and cause problems? And that was a new thing that people were only just starting to understand. And it's all because of people continuing to do research and publishing that, and think things like YouTube spreading that information out there. So these days, when something new happens, it gets out a lot faster. Whereas in the old days, somebody would figure something out and write it in a book or in an article, and then 3 people would read that, and then over the course of 5 years, they would tell another 3 people who would tell. It took a long time for it to become common knowledge. Whereas nowadays, somebody makes a video and then 10 people just parrot that stuff in the video, which is bad as much as it is good, because if it's not the right information, you're just spreading nonsense. But as information overload, you can't really avoid what the common best practices are. Maybe you should do an undergravel filter as a project. I don't actually have a problem with undergravel filters. I think they work quite well. I think they're one of those things that was lost too easily to technology of like power filters, canister filters, even sponge filters to a degree, but internal filters just kind of did away with them. Where I think they are quite a good solution for unobtrusive, mechanically sound methods of filtration. Now, I get that if you don't keep up with maintenance and stuff, they do get blocked easily, but that's, you could say that for any filter, really. I think they're a much underrated one. Whether I'm going to use them in any projects, I don't know, because I think in this fish room at least, I'm going to be focusing on making nicer tanks and having my fish room as a more aesthetically pleasing thing. So I've got my big tanks, I'm happy with them. I want the rest of my tanks to be beautiful tanks. And start working on the whole aquascaping thing and seeing if I can become good at that. When I was a kid, my mum drained the tank and scrubbed everything with hot water and dish soap. I know. You think of things used to, like I say, my grandpa used to just chuck the fish in the sink, tip, rinse, back in. That fish must have been like, what the hell? But I guess it got used to it. Um, when I was a kid, my parents had fish. We would walk to the local street. They had spring water pump there. We would fill 2 buckets and then pour the fish in. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stories about fish that will survive situation X. But for everyone that survives, there are lots that don't. It used to be a thing that it just wouldn't be uncommon for fish to die quickly once you got them home. And this isn't to say all the fish keepers were at fault. It was less than ideal practices of importing the fish, collecting the fish, then importing the fish, then how they were kept and handled in the shops. were all a little bit subpar, so you did possibly get weaker fish, which you then had your own subpar practices at home, and it was just normal that, yeah, some fish won't make it, they'll die. It just became a thing, whereas I think that has flipped completely now, where it's not normal. I always used rainwater before dechlorinators were available. Rainwater is something I've thought about as well, because it rains a lot here. Um, I did a bit of a test at my old house. I wonder, did I have a video of that? I might have some. I might have a spreadsheet, but I did a bit of a test about rainwater that I collected only in a water butt. But it had all sorts in it, and I don't know if it was just my collection technique. So I was collecting it from the roof through the gutter into a big water butt, but I just couldn't get to the point where I was convinced it was safe, because even very fresh rainwater, there's all kinds of muck in it. There's all kinds of things getting in there, whether it's bird crap on your roof getting washed into the water, whether it's living things getting washed in there, worms and all kinds of beasties. I think, but again, I was literally just collecting rainwater. I wasn't processing it in any way. So I know a lot of people that live off grid, for instance, will do this with rainwater, and they have better techniques for making sure you get cleaner rainwater. So I am interested in it, looking into it again, and maybe one day. But I have a lot of things going on. A silent auction for dry goods. Yeah, that might be not a bad idea. When I first started fish keeping, even 19 years ago, media is cleaned under the sink and cycling was non-existent. That was the start of my water change, she said. And I kind of remember when cycling became a thing, or not became a thing, but became a more common discussion point of how to introduce fish into your tank, how to get your tank ready for fish, from the days of literally people would advise you to pee in your tank to start the cycle, throwing in fish food or prawns or all that kind of thing to start the cycle, through to like really complex measuring techniques to figure out where you were at in the cycle, which I think it put a lot of people off, really, because it was just difficult. Whereas nowadays you get these fairly accurate test kits, whether it's dippers or whatever it is, you can just see what's going on and under a minute go, right, okay, we're there. Do this a little bit more. There are products to help you out. A lot of them are nonsense, so best to be avoided, but it's just a lot easier and a lot more to it. But I don't know. I think we can also be a little bit guilty of being a little bit too pious sometimes. I know, for instance, I've made videos before where I've like been a lot like today's video. It was just me messing around in the fish room doing some jobs that needed to be done. I've made videos like that before where I've cleaned out a filter and I've just rinsed something under a tap. Now, most of my taps in here are actually HMA filtered taps, but I have done it from like a garden hose where I've gone, oh, look at the state of this sponge. Psh, which is straight unfiltered water from a tap that probably has chlorine and chloramine in it and all that kind of stuff. And the amount of people that are so ready and eager and willing to jump down my throat and go, you can't do that, you're killing all your beneficial bacteria. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't believe you. You don't know that. You've just heard other people say that and are repeating the same thing. I've got a big filter mat here that's full of gunk. I'm just getting the gunk off. There's plenty of bacteria still in there. Bacteria's not, a drop of water does not instantly, it's not a nuclear bomb to the bacteria. I'm washing the shit off it, and then it'll still be full of bacteria, and I'll use that again. So I'm always kind of wary of mindlessly parroting things that I learned ages ago that I might not even do myself anymore, and being a little bit more accommodating to I mean, I think a lot of times the worst that's happened is someone makes a mistake. It's not like they're actively going out there and maliciously doing a bad thing that's going to hurt their fish or whatever. So you just saying things like, "Oh, do you know, it might be better to try this, or have you thought about doing this?" Or sometimes if you go do that thing, it can cause you problems down the line, like this, and this. Not you're evil. You've killed all your fish. And the amount of people that talk to me on video, I mean, I know I'm not an expert, and I've always been keen to say I'm not an expert in anything, but the amount of people that talk to me in my videos, knowing fine well I've got like 1,000 videos about fish keeping, spanning 12 years, as if I've never seen a fish before. And I'm like, I do know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Why have you, who is clearly a young oik, decided I'm the person to pick on to start an argument with about these? So just the whole thing about human nature is like so frustrating sometimes. I really want to try and foster a community, I guess is the way to look at it. And I'm glad that all you lot are here and we can have these sorts of discussions. But I'm also acutely aware that I'm not the right person to foster a community because I have a short temper sometimes. I don't like people. Most people annoy me. So I need your help. I guess is where I'm coming from with that one. This is not a battle or a war that I can win on my own. Rain is still used. Many people, yeah, I know loads of people that use rainwater. Um, I just don't think it's as easy as just saying, "Oh, well, my gutter downpipe is here. I'll just divert this into this bucket and use that straight away." It seems to be a lot more nuanced than that. Some just use large media filters, others carbon. Yeah, I think a lot of them use carbon. So, like your HMA filters, they are essentially carbon filters. There's usually 3 stages in an HMA: a sediment filter, which is going to catch gunk and stuff, then a carbon block or a carbon granule of some description, and that gets rid of most things. So, doing the same to rainwater would probably work quite well. Cycling seems a lot more of drama now. I feel it's lost how many methods to do it. Yeah, and some they do seem a lot more. And I get it because there's so many solutions out there to instantly cycle, and that is one of the more popular videos you can make. For instance, is how to instantly cycle an aquarium. That always seems to do well because people are looking for shortcuts. So when you say fill it with water and wait 2 months, no, nobody wants to do that. Um, And I think because the likes of me, who I have literally kilos and kilos and kilos of media waiting to go at any one point, I can instantly start an aquarium because I've got lots of media that I can reuse and spread amongst different tanks. So people see that and say, well, I want that. They just don't have the kilos and kilos of spare media everywhere. So, and I'm guilty of not going, oh, by the way, I can only do this because I've got all these other tanks and I can borrow media from those filters. You'll have to wait or cycle or use a product or anything because it makes a boring video, so I'm not going to talk about it. So I skip over it. So I'm as bad as anyone else, I guess. How quick is HMA? Some say about 50 litres an hour. So your general HMAs will do like the cheapest of cheap cartridge filters, uh, cartridge inserts for an HMA filter will give you about 4 to 6 litres a minute. So if you average that at 5 times 60 is 300 litres an hour. So even the cheapest of cheap ones will do a lot more than that. If you get the big ones, they can run on full blast. So like mains pressure, full blast, whatever that works out as. Wait, you mean several people? Everybody doesn't have several tanks with multiple sponge filters. It is indeed weird, yes. Yeah, but and again, because I've been doing this so long, I forget sometimes what it's like to be new at this. So the chap that came to visit me today to pick up some plants was just getting into it. So he had questions like, "Oh, I've picked up a second-hand tank. It's come with a sponge filter. Are they bad? Well, I need to get rid of that." And I'm pointing at all my tanks, going, "Well, I use sponge filters in all my tanks, so or the majority of them anyway, they're fine. And it's the sheer volume of information out there is, if you want someone to tell you something, you will find someone that will agree with your opinion. So if you go and search up, are sponge filters good or are sponge filters bad, there'll be an equal amount of people saying one thing or the other. So you can always find a home with whatever answer you want to learn. The trick of it is finding the real scientific answers, or the people that will say, I don't really know, but this works for me. It's probably as good as I'm willing to go for. It's the ones that are like, this is the thing to do because I do it. I'm always very careful to say, this is a thing to do, and I do it, but I'm aware there are other ways to do this, and they might be good too. I'm just quite aware of how off-putting that can be to some people, especially when they're new. Hey, Mandy says, I'm with you, I don't like people either. I do say that I don't like people, and I do have concerns that I've just kind of backed myself into a corner with that one and just decided I don't like people, when actually when I do spend time with people, I have a good time and I enjoy people's company now and again. Need 2 sponge filters, young lad, that way you can start another tank. Indeed. I do like it when people come in here, for instance, like if they are new to fish keep. So I've had like friends and neighbours who have been like, got kids that are getting into fish and thought, oh, I'd maybe like a fish tank, and I'm the fish guy in their life. So they'll come along and I'll give them a fish tank and some fish or something like that when they come in here, and they're like, you know, when you're like a little kid and you go to a public aquarium, that's kind of the home version of it. So you've got all these big tanks and big colourful fishies and all that sort of thing. They're like, oh, I'll have them. And I'm like, well, you can't start with a peacock bass in that 25-litre tank I've given you. You might have to start with some shrimp and work your way up. But it's nice. I kind of like it. Right. So, one last bit of admin before we go. I always like to check if anyone's still actually here. So, if you have any questions, I've realised there haven't been all that many questions. So, if you do have any, I can hang out for a little bit longer. But I wanted to remind you that sponsored questions for the quiz are now a thing. So, if you want to do that, you join as a hero member and then just get in touch. Tell me what links you want to use for that. Very close to the 100,000 thing. As soon as I get over 100,000, the very next live stream after that will be the grand giveaway celebration live stream. I'll be giving away a Fluval Flex 2.0, lots of fish food, lots of merch, lots of new things, new merch. I've got some pens, I've got some car air fresheners, I've got some mugs. Yeah, so more probably coming in the coming weeks that will do that. So make sure you've hit the subscribe button. Make sure you've got your notifications on. Most Fridays, 9 p.m. I think I've missed one Friday this entire year. We do the live stream. So just come along to all of them, maybe. And then you'll know when it is the big one and they do the big giveaway. There will be international giveaways as well. So like things like this t-shirt that you can't see because a big comment in the way. They can be shipped internationally, so I'll do a couple of international ones. We'll do a few live games and different things on the stream, as well as just normal irreverent chat. But yes, click subscribe, make sure your bell's on, check you're subscribed, like Sai has just done. Thank you, Sai. Because sometimes you get unsubscribed from channels. I lost a couple of days ago, my subscriber count dropped by either 200 or 300. I was a bit like, what's happening? YouTube just does this every now and again. They clean out like old and dead accounts, but sometimes actual current accounts get swept up in that. So you might not be subscribed anymore. So just go and check it out and give the button a click. And give us a like. Other than that, the problem with people is the incredibly large amount of them. I could have finished that sentence there and that would have made sense for me. Lisa has hit the like button. Thank you, Lisa. A like button hit is always good too. But yes, I think we'll leave it there for the evening. Go and check out my latest video. It's doing quite well. It is just a bit of a discussion on water changes and how I look after my tanks when I feel like crap. Because I've had man flu this week and my fish don't care. So they still want their water changes, they still want feeding. So it's all about how you make everything as easy and simple as possible so as it doesn't become a chore when you are not feeling at your best, basically. So if you go and watch that, leave it a comment. That would be eternally grateful for that kind of thing too. But other than that, I'll bid you happy weekend. Have a good evening. And we'll see you in the next video. If not, we'll see you in the next... I can't find the button that ends the stream. That's why I'm waffling now. It used to be just... There we go. If I don't see you in the next video, we'll see you in the next stream next Friday. I very much doubt next Friday will be the 100,000 stream, but you never know. Thanks a lot. Cheerio, bye. Oh, almost forgot. The plants 10% off offer is still on. So if you're in the UK and you want some of my plants, you can get 10% off with plants 10 for the next few days. So check that out too. Links in the description. Go and follow me on Instagram. All that kind of stuff. Thank you. Bye. Love you.